distinguished leaders, and my dear, lovely, lovely award winners. It's an absolute honor and a tremendous privilege to be amongst you. Because you know why? Because your achievements, your resilience, and your vision, they're not just your personal victories or achievements. They give us a beacon of hope for this planet that sometimes feels fractured. And that's why, because it's post-lunch session, I'll not begin with statistics or quotations, but I'll begin with a very simple yet fascinating tale. A tale about places we know of. Heaven and hell. And this is a very fascinating tale, and I'm sure most of you have heard it. Once upon a time, very, very long ago, one particular gentleman was blessed that he could choose where he wants to stay. And he was even given an option to look, to inspect before he made the choice. So he goes to hell first. He was thinking, this place people would be boiling alive. They'll be tossing around in oceans of burning oil. They'll be hanging upside down in the fire. But nothing like that. There was a great table with a grand feast laid on it. A feast so great that delicacies, delicious delicacies from across the world were present there. He was shocked. He was like, how on earth is this heaven? But when the inmates came, he saw it. They all had very long spoons tied to their hands. And thus the spoons did not bend enough so that the inmates could feed themselves. Immediately, he understood. This is the greatest tragedy of all. Surrounded by abundance, yet you go, what's that word people use these days? Hungry. You're frustrated. You're undernourished. And you're surrounded by abundance. He went to heaven next. Of course he knew that will be the same scene, and there it was. Exactly the same grand feast. He knew there will be no long spoons. But to his astonishment, even the inmates of heaven had the same long spoons. But their faces were lit with joy. Why? Because they did not concentrate on eating themselves. Their hands reached out across the table and their neighbor was fed. That's the difference between heaven and hell, my dear friends. It's not the resources. It's not the technology. It's not the access. It is the attitude. Isolation versus interdependence. Greed versus sharing. With these words, I bring to you a concept of my perilous Sanatan culture that comes from India and which was quoted by Uday this morning. The concept of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, which means that this entire world is one family, not a human family only, but one family of all living beings. This statement has recently been used a lot as an ornament to embellish, to embroider globalization. But it has a far deeper and profound meaning. What is the meaning? How is it that you leaders will use this? Please remember, what happens in the family? Like I just confused my brothers. Chit. What happens? Who is taken care of in the superlative in the family? Is it the most powerful? Is it the most wealthiest? Is it the earning member? No, my dear friends, it's none of those. It is the youngest, the most vulnerable. And in a global community, it is the marginalized folks. So when you have to lead, just remember the tenets of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The tenet or the talisman would guide you. Whenever you do anything, be it in conferences like these, in your business places, in summits, in parliaments, please remember how this act of yours would help the most underprivileged, the most voiceless, the one who suffers the most, especially when we've seen COVID that shattered all of us. We have seen an accelerating climate change, where storms, where famines, where cyclones are striking without considering our maps. We need to make our laws, we need to make our policies for that youngest member of us. And only then would we be able to achieve what we know as metaphorically kingdom of heaven and earth, or what we Indians know as Ram Raj. With these words, I thank all of you. I am blessed being with you. And please follow the tenets of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Jai Shri Ram, a very hardik namaste to all of you.